Hey everybody, welcome friends to another Bands You May Not Know. Today we are talking about the band Mutoid Man. I am your host, Corey James. Let's get into it. So Mutoid Man was formed in 2012 by the vocalist guitarist Stephen Brodsky from Cave-In, who teamed up with the drummer Ben Kohler from Converge. They released their first EP, Helium Head, under the Magic Bullet Records in 2013. They formed in 2012, so they wrote that in that little period as a two-piece band. Brodsky describes this as the material picks up from where we left off in Cave-In. The two of us ran with this sound and formula and took it as far as we can go. In Pitchfork magazine, they celebrated their debut as saying it is both numbskull hard rock, cerebral progressive metal, and at the time of the two approaches have become almost mutually exclusive in the heavy metal music area. Alright, so my opinion on these guys, I'm going to go into here right now. These guys, if you like classic heavy metal music, if you like classic rock, if you enjoy some progressiveness, if you want to find a band in this new era of music, but still give you that vibe like you're listening to Black Sabbath or any of those classic heavy metal bands that started it all, these guys have perfected that sound. The music is constant driving, constant moving, and you don't know which direction you're looking. You don't know if you're listening to old school heavy metal, or if you're listening to math rock, or if you're listening to progressive rock. It's such a beautifully mashed up chunks of genres that flow through each song so perfectly. The first song I listened to was off of Breeder, which was their first full-length album, and the song was Bridge Burner. So it's a good place to start. Anytime I tell anyone about this band, I always tell them to listen to that song, because that song is like the flagship for their overall that band. Like, you listen to that one song, you're gonna know this is what this band is. This is what they do. This is their sound. And yeah, throughout the albums, they mix it up. They go soft. They go slow. They go beautiful. They go epic. They go real brutal. They have it all. It's such a fun band to watch too. These three guys. Sorry, they added a third person, the bassist, Nick Cagio, who was their sound person in a New York venue. Anyway, the Bridge Burner song is such a good, easier way in. That's when I first found them. That was the album that I listened to all the time because they didn't have anything new yet. And then in 2000... Warmoons was announced for 2017, so it was like only 2 years ago. My personal favorite off of their discography. Yeah, they only had Helium Head, which was an EP, and then they had Bridge Burner, or Bleeder, which Bleeder is an amazing album. Don't get me wrong. Like, you can listen through that. You like I said, if you like any types of classic rock, these guys are gonna hit it for you. But it also pulls you into those other genres that you might not usually go for. You might not be a person who likes progressive rock, or psychedelic rock, or insanely fast driving rock. You know, you want the slower chugs. You'll get it, but you'll also start finding yourself going, wow, I'm listening to some stuff that I might not have before, which I love bands that do that. I love bands that take the creativity and the genre and push the boundary of the genres out in ways that you wouldn't expect and create their own genres. Like, what's numbskull rock? I don't know, but that's what they call themselves. So in 2017, they released their sophomore album, Warmoons. I effing love this album. Warmoons, like I said, they perfected it before, but Warmoons was them perfecting themselves. And these guys, like I was saying, these guys, if you watch them, they just seem like they're having so much fun. Like, the Brodsky, the singer, is just the goofiest mother ever, always smiling and just cracking weird jokes and jumping around, and He has brilliant vocals, but he uses them like he's just messing around. And it's like, dude, you're just messing around, and your voice is brilliant. The screams, the higher pitches, he can do everything. And he doesn't overdo it. Like, I just because I said screams, don't run away. He'll only let a yell out, once every minute maybe. And sometimes he doesn't put them in his songs at all. But when he does, you're like, holy crap, I wasn't ready for that. I didn't know he was going to do that. I didn't know he could do that. But he does it. And it's brilliant. Like I said, if you're going to listen to a song, start off with Bridge Burner from Bleeder. It'll ease your way in. But Warmoans, every song on there is perfect. It is beautifully done. Starts with Melt Your Mind, just fast-paced, hard rock and roll. There's one song on there in particular that gets me it hits me hard. It's a very emotional, slower style than most of their songs in any of their other albums. Bandages, the last track on Warmoans, gives me such a, like, the emotion that they were going for it's there. When you listen to it, you're just beat up, you're destroyed, whether it be from a woman breaking your heart or a man breaking your heart, or maybe you're stressed from your work or just life in general. This song gives me chills up my spine every time, and it's a very good way to wrap up this era of what they've been doing with fast-paced heavy metal music. They are actually on tour right now. I just watched a couple of videos of them playing live, so they are still together. It's like a weird supergroup, but it's not, because they're not mainstream bands that they were in before, and there's not a lot of them. It's not like they took 7 different people from huge mainstream bands and threw them into a group. It's the two guys from Converge and in Cave In, and then a random sound guy steps up for bass. And they're just having fun, and they're writing some of the most influential, brilliant rock and roll music of our time. You don't get that very much anymore. You don't get, we have all these new genres now, and everybody's going, let's go as heavy let's push the boundaries of the heavy, let's push the boundaries of the screaming, let's push the boundaries of this, but no one's going, let's take something that's been around for so long that none of this stuff would exist without, but just pull things from everywhere and make everyone be like, damn, this stuff is good. So, like I said, they're on tour right now. They have not announced any new music from what I understand. I don't know if they're stepping back. I know that Brodsky does a lot of other stuff. He has shows on YouTube. He does a weird late night metal show where he has other bands come on and they just do wacky covers and weird stuff. I can't remember what it's called, but I'm sure you could find it if you look it up on YouTube or look for it on the internet. Yeah, if you've never heard Mutoid, man, check them out. I'll obviously have the music faded in the background here, so you can probably have Melt Your Mind, and Bleeder, and maybe Bandages if I can fit it in there. But that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this. Check out Mutoid, man. I'm Corey James, your host, and this was another Bands You May Not Know. If you're on the channel right now, subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell for any time we add new videos. We're constantly uploading content. Tune in to the channel Tuesdays at 5 o'clock Eastern. Every Tuesday at 5 o'clock Eastern is when we go live here in the studio with the Strange Planet podcast. Me and my co-host, Anthony Zevatek. We get into a lot of fun topics, a lot of movies, video games, pop culture in general, what's going on. Sometimes we talk about music. It just all depends on what we're doing. Have a beer with us and enjoy the podcast. Thanks for joining me. Have a great rest of the week. Later.